Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to everyone who is joining from us from around the world. On behalf of the IFLA Special Interest Group, it's my great pleasure to welcome all of you to today's webinar on AI and research. I'm Geethani and I will be your host for today's event. And it's really a pleasure to have the participants joining from us different parts of the world and across many time zones. Your presence reflects the growth of global interest in understanding how AI is transforming research and scholarly work. Today's session is an excellent opportunity to explore both the passions and challenges that AI brings to research landscape. We are privileged to have our expert speaker, Professor Nuwan Kodawada, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Faculty of Computing, Sri Lanka Institute of Information Technology, who will share the valuable insights and practical perspectives, the reasonable use of AI in research. So without having any ado, it's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker, Professor Nuwan Kodawada. Professor Nuwan Kodawada graduated with BSc Honours in Engineering from University of Morattu, Sri Lanka, where he also earned his degree as well. He subsequently obtained his PhD from Sheffield Hallam University in the United States. He joined the Sri Lanka Institute of Information Technology in 2001. He currently serves as the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the Faculty of Computing, overseeing academic programs, leading research initiatives, and fostering industry collaborations with the faculty. Professor Kodawada's current research interest focus on the applications of generative artificial intelligence in education, research, and its use across various industry verticals. He is passionate about exploring how AI can transform educational methodologies and contribute to diverse sectors. So it's time to start the session. If you have any inquiries, you can use the chat box. So later we can discuss on them in the Q&A session. Over to you, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Geethani, for the kind introduction. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and I don't know whether there's someone where it's nighttime, so then good night. So it's a great opportunity for me to speak to you. So let me dive right into my slide deck. I'll start sharing my screen. So in my talk, I actually want to tell you a little bit about actually what's happening in AI. So I think all of you know how AI is impacting every part, every job, every work that all of us are doing, whatever part of the world we are in. And I would say like we are moving from AI assistants to AI agents. And I just want to pose some questions, and there are a lot of challenges, not only for the library community, for researchers as well, on what direction that we should take with this AI. So AI is very clearly very powerful, and it is currently affecting us, and it's currently we think of it as an assistant, but it's going to become more and more powerful. And I do not have answers to all the questions to what I'm trying to show you. So I would like to talk about four things in my speech. I would like to go back a little bit about before AI, like the time where we did traditional research. So I think most of us, when we did our studies, when I even did my PhD, we did not have AI. So we used library resources a lot to find. We went to the traditional research cycle where, basically, we had to do everything. But now, of course, in 2026, AI is used as an assistant, and it can be used wide across the research spectrum. And the scary thing is like now you have this agentic AI, which is trying to go beyond the traditional assistant, and we are seeing some tools coming up. So this poses a lot of questions like, what is it to be a researcher? How should we use these tools? And in a sense, like this will also kind of reflect about, what libraries should do, now and perhaps in the future. So I want to start with something that happened 2 days ago. I don't know whether you know this. Claude is a very powerful and very widely used AI system. It's by a company called Anthropic. and they introduced on just 2 days ago something called Claude Science. So according to them, it's an AI workbench that connects to over 60 scientific databases. And mostly, you can actually ask it to accelerate and do parts of the research work by yourself. Currently, this is in beta. If you have a Claude account, you need to have a paid account. You have access to this. So let me show you where things are right now. Of course, this is in beta, but there are many other products like this. And then I think we will go to the this way that we came to this particular point. So I'll go to the Claude website. So this was the announcement that they made. They call it the AI Workbench for Scientists. And I will actually talk a little bit about this towards the end of my speech, but let me run this particular video that they have. Of course, it's in public beta. I actually tried it today, and it was able to do, I'll show you what it was able to do for some of the work that I'm doing. But let me run this video initially to show you perhaps what state of the art in research looks like right now. So let me, yeah, probably I'll have to go to YouTube to run this. Let me try to go to YouTube. And to sign, just give me a second. I'll just do a quick search and try to grab it on YouTube. For some reason, it's blocking me. Yeah, so let me run this video. Okay, so let me just not talk anything more regarding Claude. We'll come back to that. But that's something that I want to show you as perhaps like state of the art, where you have AI systems which can do substantial part of the research, and this is really good for life sciences. It has access to over 60 scientific databases. So if you have a Claude subscription, it means that automatically that individual has access to these 60 databases through the Claude subscription, which is around $20 per month. But let me come back to my original question about, I just want to go to this cycle to take you a little bit, I would say, history about how we did research without AI and how we use AI now as an AI assistant. And of course, now this new kind of AI, which is agentic AI that's coming up. So in the traditional sense, I think all of us are familiar with this. So when we did our degrees, whether it's undergraduate or PhDs, we had to actually go and visit the physical library. Everything was on physical printed books. So I remember to get a particular paper that I wanted for my PhD, I had to walk into the library and make a request. And it took about 2 to 3 weeks for me to get that paper because it was taken from I think the librarian at my university in UK was able to get it from another university. And it was not instantaneous, so we had to spend some time and everything was human, like from the literature search, writing part, and defending. Everything was human, so you didn't have a AI or any other computer-based system to support us. Except, of course, for writing, we had Microsoft Word or some tool, or maybe LaTeX, depending on what we used to do. But now, if you kind of look at the current situation, you have a whole set of tools that can do different tasks for us. So whether it's searching for literature, I think I'll go to some examples on some of these. So I'm sure you know some of these products like Elicit, Consensus, Semantic Scholar. So these actually allow, these are AI tools that help us probably in the literature review part. And these tools have a free version, and of course, they have a paid version. So if I just use one of the tools that are typically used, one very good tool that a lot of people seem to use is Elicit. I think at SLIT in my university also, most of our researchers use Elicit. So if I go to Elicit, let me actually go to a typical database that we have. So we have IEEE Explorer. Now, in these traditional databases, like if I want to find some papers like, okay, Gen AI in research or something, usually some of the older tools might actually do only a keyword search. So typically, you may not get the real results. You can see it's only doing a word search. I think some of the new databases might do a better job than this. But you can clearly see the difference of this when you start using some of these AI tools like Elicit to search for something. So in this case, I have already logged in. I have a free account. So if I simply say Gen AI for research, which means that I'm trying to find out how generative AI is used for research. Maybe I want to figure out from literature how that can be done. In this case, like it'll actually search for this maybe from the abstract, maybe from the title, and will to give me a fairly better result. And So it's taking a little bit of time to do that. And there are different tools that can search for your literature in different ways. So I'll show you this particular one once it comes up with the literature review. Whereas if you take something like Research Rabbit, it uses a kind of like a graph so that you can find related research papers that you want to search. So if I ask the same question, Gen AI for research, so this is something that will actually help you to create a graph of related research papers based on the citations you use. So this seems to be the first one that it has come up with. So I could actually click that. And so let me actually see. So it will actually take you to the paper as well, if it's available in their domain. Let me just try to see whether we can get so let me go back here. So while doing that, let me have a look at what Elicit has been able to get. I think this new version asks you certain tools. So I think this has been modified, and you can ask it to do many things. I think with Elicit, you can even do, I think, using this newer version, something like a Prisma kind of like literature review as well. So let me, I'm not actually getting, let me just check. Let me try a Semantic Scholar, which is also something similar. Let me try. I just wanted to show you a different view. So if I actually take one of these papers, yes, So here you can see some of the, I mean, it does something more than a, uh, keyword search. And there's a way in which you can actually see this in a more graphical kind of view as well. Um, yeah. So let me actually. Yes, I think the newer version of Elicit actually wants. Let me show you something I have done a little bit earlier. So, I think in the older version, like when you actually, this was the prompt that I gave. And once you give a prompt, you can actually, get a list of papers like this. And it's also possible to get certain details about the paper, like the abstract. And you can also add columns. Like, for example, I have added the column, how many participants are there in this particular study. Or I could actually, let's say if I want to have a look at the methodology, I could add this. I think if I go under this particular column, I should be able to add a new one. So it's possible for you to actually add. So probably this is because I have an unpaid version. You can actually add these columns. You can add these columns and you can see how the different details from the papers can be taken. So similarly, like in any of these, like these are some of the things that I have done earlier. You can very easily have the different columns and that you want to extract from the papers that it has been able to come up with. So this was the prompt that I gave. So it actually summarized the 8 sources that it found. So products like Edicit is connected to a database and you can view it in this tabular kind of format. And in one shot, you can kind of see what are each of these different research papers actually try to tell you. And you have the ability to go into individual research papers as well. So I think with that, let me also talk about some of the other tools that are available. So there are tools which can certainly do much more than that. Like they can help you in the writing part. So for example, if I take a product like maybe SciSpace, or so SciSpace is once again, it's a product that is meant for research. And you can see it has a whole set of tools that you can use. You can even write a draft. So it can actually help you to write. So once again, like I will not show you how to use this particular tool, but what I can show you is like it can be used wide across, not only searching for literature, but also maybe for doing some kind of a draft and developing maybe images that you need for your research as well. And if I kind of show you some of the other tools that are available. So this particular tool in the third one is Ryan, which can actually help you in excluding and including research papers that you have taken for maybe a systematic study. Then there are more advanced tools like, like Jenny AI, or I want to show you Prism as well. So if you take a product like Jenny AI, it works on the philosophy that if you have a writer's block and you're writing a paper, maybe the AI can help you with that. So there are so many tools that are available and which help you in the different parts of what you want to do. So if I try to write something in this particular product, it will actually help me to fill up the things that I want. So let's say I want to do a research on Gen AI for research. So I think it gives you an idea about what kind of I'll just work with this. So in this particular product, you can actually see, let me actually go to something and show you how it works. So as you write, what it will do is like it will kind of help you to help you to complete the sentences that you want. So maybe you can actually add the resources. So as you kind of write your research paper, it will kind of fill up, like it's like an IntelliSense kind of thing. So that's the kind of approach that a product like Genie AI takes, where it basically helps you. I mean, the argument is like maybe you have a writer's block and you want to write, and then maybe get the AI to kind of come up with some intelligence kind of thing. Uh, Sorry, it could help you with something like that. Now, so there are many products like this. Genie, SciSpace is also something like this, which can actually write a complete paper. Um, so if you take this particular product, I think I showed you that. I also want to show you some other tools that are available. So some, researchers use this particular formatting language called LaTeX, and I'm sure some universities use Overleaf. Overleaf is an easier way to generate LaTeX and then, of course, generate the research papers. OpenAI recently released a product called Prism. Now, Prism, the interesting thing about Prism is like it's a LaTeX writing tool. But what it does is like you have AI built in. So learning to use LaTeX is a little bit complicated. So usually like people in technical subjects use this LaTeX language. But in Prism, which is basically a chat GPT tool by OpenAI, um, allows you to use a chat window, and it allows you to develop your document in LaTeX. So I'll just maybe show you a little bit about what it can do, because it's a very different type of writing tool where the AI can really help you to come up with something really useful um, that you may find difficult to do. So it's mostly like you are doing the AI, you are doing the writing, but it's a AI LaTeX editor. So it's a writing tool, but what it does is like it helps you to do the writing part, but you kind of like figure out how you want to do it. So I'll just play a small video just to show you, because this is freely available. So this is something that's freely available. So if there's anyone who's using LaTeX, this might be an easy way in which they can actually start using it. So I think you get the sense. So this is, I mean, if there's anyone who have, so I have a few of my research assistants where we actually used Overleaf to create research papers, but now they use this particular tool because it's so easy to use. Of course, you have to do most of the work by yourself, but then getting the output done and formatting it properly helps you a lot. Like when you start using a tool like this, and I think for currently this is actually free. Anyone can use it for free. It's a tool from OpenAI called Prism. Um, so let me just quickly get back to my slide deck. And there are a lot of other tools as well that will help you. And I think we have seen how Claude and ChatGPT are used as well. I also want to show you another product. I think you may have used this Notebook LM. Notebook LM is by Google. So it's a tool, I think, that helps researchers to find out in depth about, if you want to know about a particular research paper and try to understand the technicality of that in your terms, this is a fantastic tool. I'll just show you a little bit about what it can do. I'm sure most of us are familiar with it. So Notebook LM, the way that you use it is like you can, this is a free tool once again by Google. You can upload up to 50 sources. So when you start this, you can upload files related to your research. Typically, the way this is used is like researchers will have their PDFs with them and of the research papers that they want to use, and they will upload this to this one. And then you can generate various types of, you can create reports, you can create slide decks, you can create videos. The videos, slide decks are for you to understand the concepts better, especially if it's something difficult. So I'll kind of show you an example of something that I have done. So this attention is all you need is a very famous computer science paper by Google. This is basically how most of the large language models work on. This is a paper published in 2017. So ChatGPT, Gemini, all of those things are based on the technical aspects of this. So it's a very technical paper. If you actually download it, you will see that it's a fairly technical one with a lot of diagrams and a lot of equations and stuff like that. But you can actually upload this and then generate, videos. You can create a mind map. So let me show you, I think, a video that I created. I think this is one of them. So Notebook LM, I think the way that you can use Notebook LM is to help you to understand complex things in your field. So I'll just play this slightly just to see whether it actually loads and then play this. So this was generated by...
If you show a computer a photograph of a cat, it can identify the animal in a fraction of a second. It takes in the entire image at once, processing all the pixels at the exact same time. But human language doesn't work like a static picture. When we speak or write, we produce a sequence of words, and in language, the exact order of those words is what gives them their meaning. For years, engineers built artificial intelligence to mimic this sequential process. To read a sentence, the AI acted like a stress detective forced to read a long scroll through a tiny peephole. It could only look at one word at a time, moving strictly left to right. Reading word by word creates a massive traffic jam in a...
So the actual paper doesn't have these analogies. So it's actually coming up with some analogies so that, a layman can actually understand. So I think this is a real great tool for anyone who wants to understand complex things that they are learning about. And so today, I think a researcher who is going to read a very complicated paper in their field could use this tool to simplify and get a high-level understanding of what the research paper is really talking about. So some of these tools like Notebook LM are actually free tools. Yeah. So one of the things that I also want to tell you is about hallucination. So when you start using AI, AI actually has this thing, because like AI is not deterministic, it's probabilistic. By nature, it can come up with things which are not real. So one of the problems that we see when papers are published is like you have hallucinated citations or references. Obviously, one way of resolving this is to connect your AI to databases, and I'll show you how you can do that. But still, there can be errors. So for example, this Claude Science, which I told you about, it is connected to 60 databases, and it's agentic meaning like you tell it what to do and it will do things by itself, and it might ask you a few questions. So the Claude Science can come up with a research paper as its final output, but it has a separate review agent. So it has a separate AI, which will look at the citations and check whether they're actually accurate. So what I'm trying to tell you is like, just because you have a AI tool connected to some kind of a research database, still it can go wrong. But we see increasingly that most of the AI tools that we are familiar with, I'll show you examples from ChatGPT and Claude, that it's very easy to connect a library, like a research library, to the AI that you are using. But the point is, like, although we are able to do that, and we can see this through even what Claude has recently released 2 days ago, the way that they kind of ensure that the citations are accurate, although they have 60 databases that they connect to, it's like they have a separate AI that will review the paper that they write and identify issues that are there. And then, of course, if it finds an issue, it will try to correct it. So let me show you how you can use your normal AI and maybe to get better results by connecting to databases. But the thing that's actually happening is like we see this AI frontier labs like ChatGPT, like OpenAI and Anthropic by Claude. They are for some reason like they're connecting to databases. I think most of these databases are public databases. They are not, I think, proprietary databases. But they also have the ability to connect to proprietary databases as well. So I'll show you how you can do that. So if I actually take my ChatGPT that I normally use, so this is normally your ChatGPT. This is, I have a paid account, but you can do it with your free one as well. So ChatGPT has something called GPTs, which are like mini kind of like products that are there. And if you go under research and analysis, you will see it can be connected to a lot of other tools. Like you can see it can be connected to Consensus, which is an AI tool. It can be connected to SciSpace. So if you have an account in SciSpace, you can connect it to your ChatGPT account and then start using it. So for example, if I take Consensus, so all I have to do is just go under my ChatGPT account and go under GPTs, and then I'll go under Consensus. So according to this has a large number of databases available. I'm not sure about the exact number, but if I could actually go from there and start a chat, and in here, it will actually take academic papers that are there by Consensus, right? So I could maybe enable, so there are these different modes that I can enable, like this deep research, and maybe I could ask a question and then I could ask it to basically refer from the research papers that are there in this Consensus, whatever research papers that it is connected to. So, I mean, I could type anything, but let's say I'll give it some time in AI for research or something like that, and let it run. It may take some time to do that. If I use Claude, now Claude, I think the difference in Claude and ChatGPT is the number of connections that you can have. So if you used your normal Claude, I think now Fable 5 is back, I think from yesterday or so. So you have different models that you can use. Typically, you might want to use like Opus 4.8 if you're doing some serious work. So this has a option called Research Enable. So you can actually connect research. And I'll show you the different connectors that you can connect it to. So you have this, if you use your, so you have under Customize, you have connectors. And I think the real strength of Claude is like you can connect to so many different things. So I have connected it to an archive repository. I have an Adobe account, so I've connected to Adobe. I have connected to Consensus. And one thing that I want to show is you can connect it to O'Reilly. O'Reilly is also, you need to have an account in these products. So I have an O'Reilly account, institutional account. I have connected to that. So when I use my Claude, I can ask it to go to O'Reilly and then find material from there. But then you have this Scholar Gateway. Now, this Scholar Gateway is actually something that's provided by Wiley. So, so basically, you can connect your Wiley research database, which is a proprietary database, maybe with a library has. Some libraries may have a Wiley database, and you can connect your Wiley database through Scholar Gateway. I think Scholar Gateway is a product by Wiley. So, so what I do is I have my Claude connected to a. So in my university, we teach in different. I mean, I teach for other universities as well. So one of the foreign universities that I work with have the Wiley database. So I have connected my Claude to Wiley. So whenever I want to refer to something, it will use the Wiley database as well to research. So basically, within my Claude environment, I can access all the research papers. I don't have to go to the library portal to do that. So within my tool set, I can access this, and it helps me to find the correct research papers that I want to do in my research. So I just want to show you that these tools, even your general tools that you use, if you connect them to the various library connections or the publicly available ones, but this is actually not a publicly available one. But if your library has this, you can, by the related database, you can actually connect Claude to that and get access to it. So there is a technology called MCP, which allows you to connect your AI to these different providers. It doesn't have to be a research database. It can even be a Gmail account or any other products that you want to connect to. So let me go back here. But although we can do that, still you have to check whether your citations are correct, because things can still go wrong, right? So this is actually an issue. We have found that if you go through the literature, there are a lot of AI hallucinations in citations, and I'll show you a statistic which is interesting. In 2023, 1 out of 2,828 papers had a fabricated citation. And in 2025, 1 out of 458 research papers had a fabricated one. Now it's actually becoming bad, like 1 out of 277 papers has a fabricated or hallucinated citation. That's because I think everyone is using AI. And so this is something that is actually an issue with publications like journal publications and conferences, where sometimes it's difficult to find this. So this is actually some research done by Columbia University. And here are some examples. This Neurolips is actually a very famous computer science conference. So they had actually found over 100 hallucinated citations across 53 papers. And you can see that, it's affecting. So there was a Nature publication with fake references, and a librarian was able to detect that according to what I was able to find. So this hallucinated citations is a genuine problem, because it looks like most of the people who write research papers are using AI tools, at least for the final part of the writing. Now, I also want to touch about what's happening next. So the earlier tools are mostly tools that kind of like you are in control, and AI takes a back seat and is just supporting you. But then you have these tools like Claude Science, right? So Claude Science is actually, it's not a new AI model. It's a tool that has, it can connect to various types of domains like life sciences and other sciences as well, if it has the papers, and it can generate autonomously code and carry out experiments in an agentic kind of fashion. So I just want to show you what I tried today. So one of my students who is doing their fourth year research project came up with a project idea. So he had some detailed descriptions about this. So this is something related to parallel computing and AI. So I just to test this tool, because I had this pitch, I asked this particular tool like Claude Science to do this and basically carry out the research. I can show you how I ran it. So if you install this, it runs, I think I had to sign into Claude. Let me do that. So so this is what I did. So I gave a prompt like this, where the only prompt was like some description about what my student said. So he had an idea about, some particular topic. And I actually attached that. This was what he gave. It was a project idea, but I just wanted to ask Claude Science to go ahead and then write, do the research on behalf of me, and then try to do something. Of course, this was on parallel computing, so this can connect to high performance computers as well. But basically, it generated the code, but it ran it on my computer, so the results are very limited. But it asked me a few questions, but it took about, I think, 6-7 hours for it to do this. So it ran some experiments, did it, went through everything, and then it generated various types of graphs. Of course, I cannot publish this because anyway, these results are very limited because it actually ran the experiments on my computer, which is not a good test bed. But it did all of these things on its own. And then finally, it came up with the research paper. It took about 5 to 6 hours. to do that. So all of these things, like I didn't prompt it, it just went through and then it came up with these equations and all that. And then I think at some point it came up with the research paper. It created a LaTeX file, and then this is the research paper that it came up with. So if I show you the research paper that it came, of course, this is not publishable, but it's a fairly good draft. It has, so this part, obviously, it has come up with some results, some formulas. It has developed some code called the pack controller. This is something that it created. And then it has run this on my computer and got various metrics. And it has, even generated references. And the AI tool has also checked and verified that these references are actually correct. So I just want to show you, like, okay, what is the state of the art is. Like, you can ask an AI to do something, and can run and do these experiments on its own and then share it. And if you go to Cloud Science, you can see many other examples of what they have done, mostly in life sciences. So in life sciences, I think they have some very good examples where they have actually used this product. So I think if you go under this, you can see, so these are ones that Claude has provided, and basically from one single prompt, which is something like this. So basically, the question was, help me carry out the research. Sorry, this is my one. Let me just actually go back to this one. So so this is the research. I think this is on medicine, or it's bioscience. So this was a research question. And it just went and then did all of these things on its own, and then it's reporting the results back to the researcher. So I just want to show you, how powerful these tools are. Yeah, so I'm just showing some of the results of that. And there are many other products. I don't think I have time to show you these. So Google has something called Co-Scientist. Unfortunately, none of these are publicly available for us. But they have a set of tools that which actually can help in hypothesis generation, experiment design. That's by Gemini, and there are many other examples. But this one is actually available for anyone who has a Claude subscription. So I have this question. I don't have an answer to this. So what I'm trying to say is, like, these tools are going to become more powerful day by day. Within a few months, they'll have more powerful tools, not only by Claude, by Gemini and all the other providers. So we see that ChatGPT also works with life sciences. So I have this question, like, if AI can do all of these things, and it can also check the citations, what does a library become? I mean, once again, like, what should a library do? I have some ideas of where a library can do. Obviously, it's like a knowledge source where people, if you talk about researchers, go and learn about research. I think libraries now provide education about AI literacy. They talk about ethics, and then, of course, maybe ensuring that everyone has access to various resources that they need to do. But I just want to throw that up when you have an AI that can do all of these things by itself. From the software industry, you may know there's a big issue. There are a lot of junior level job cuts, according to this research. But 14% of the entry level software engineering jobs have gone away. Most of the jobs are at the senior level or mid level. But however, when it comes to research, universities actually produce researchers because that's part of the undergraduate work that we do. We train students to become researchers. But once again, like, even in our university, we are asking questions because students have access to these AI tools. How can we actually evaluate whether the students are genuinely engaged in research? But the point is, like, universities will produce human researchers, but they may use AI tools. And so in an age where you can get an AI to do the literature review without going to a library, using the AI tools themselves, in an age where you can get an AI to run experiments, write code, run experiments. So this Claude Science can actually connect to a high-performance computer or a GPU cluster and run the programs there. It can very easily, seamlessly do that. And I think they have shown examples of what it can do. So then what is the role of a human researcher? if AI can actually do all of these things, and what is the role of a librarian. So I think I don't have answers to what a human researcher or what the role of a library is, but these are some things that I would like to maybe share as questions and maybe for discussions. So thank you very much for the opportunity. So what I tried to do was, if I just go to my very first slide, what I just wanted to do was talk about how AI has impacted research and also libraries. If you talk about libraries, of course, there was a time where we didn't have digitization, everything was physical. Now I think most libraries have moved on to digitized libraries or digital books. So there was a time we didn't have AI. Now we use AI as assistants, but AI is becoming kind of like a tool where it can do a significant amount of the research cycle by itself. So I think it's something that I think we all should be aware of, and I think we have control over as universities and also as libraries on how to produce the next generation of researchers. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for the valuable presentation. And we have one question in the chat. It asks, what is the biggest challenge of using AI in the academic ethical writing?
Yeah, so I think when you look at the literature about publications and the issues with AI, it's basically hallucinated citations. We see that all the time. So the statistics also show there's an increased growth in hallucinated citations, because I think everyone is using AI at least for the final leg of the writing part. So if you take a journal today, there are certain accepted usage of AI. So if you are using AI to polish up your writing, I think that's generally accepted. We use tools like Grammarly and all that. The problem is like it may come up with imaginary kind of citation. That is, I think, the greatest challenge that is there. And of course, AI is not perfect. So it kind of like, unlike a human, it might take off a vertical and then go into a very narrow area when it's doing the writing for you. But what we teach our students is like to just use AI as a tool only. But I also wanted to show you that you have this very powerful agentic AI is also coming up that can support the research cycle. So I'm not really sure how we can use these tools in a proper way, and also be genuine human researchers as well.
Thank you, sir. And I have a little bit regarding about how we draw this specific line between the AI assistance with the authorship.
Yeah, I think the good way to think about it is like what the editors of journals say about the usage of AI. Currently, you cannot include AI as an author, which means the editorial board of a journal or a conference will say you can use AI as an assistant, but you have to take full ownership of what you are writing. This includes the literature review, the writing part, obviously the results. We see a lot of research papers which are withdrawn because of various issues. There were some very famous ones like when ChatGPT came out. So I think if you ask the question like what is the boundary of using AI, the editorial practices of a specific journal will say this is how you should use AI. I think that's a good guidance, because a lot of people in the research community talk about the implication of using AI. I think that might be a good place to look at about what you can do with AI and what you should not do with AI, looking at what are the publication requirements for a journal. So for example, like journals still check for AI detection, like they have AI detection tools. So they expect like some level of humanization or some level of human involved in writing. But I think that would be a good guideline to use. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for the clarification. And there's another question. What is the best way for a public librarian to keep up to date with AI developments to be able to assist library users?
Yeah, I think once again, like I'm not 100% sure about the new mandates. So if I take our library, with I think Ms. Pushmala is also here. So we have a lot of sessions on how to do research. I think that's something that a library does. I think we have, of course, various initiatives to get students to start reading. So there are reading clubs and activities like that. And I think libraries also are now looking at AI education. Like, we kind of teach young researchers on how to use AI to do research, because usually research and libraries go hand in hand. So I think educating, maybe you get researchers who are senior researchers to help or do knowledge dissemination sessions on how AI can be used ethically in the research community. But having those kind of discussions and talks would certainly help. So here in Sri Lanka, like when we talk to some of our top researchers, like the top most scientists in Sri Lanka, one of the things that they very clearly say is like, should you use AI for research? They say definitely yes. Because if you are not using AI for your research work within the ethical boundaries, you are at a competitive disadvantage, because the rest of the researchers are using AI, and they may have very large teams. And also, like for writing for grants, that's something that I have heard from, the top research scientists in Sri Lanka. But one of the things that they say, because within the ethical boundaries, if you are using AI, you should definitely use it, because otherwise you are at a competitive disadvantage, because others are using these very powerful tools to do their publications.
Yes, sir, very interesting. And we have another question. What is your view of the librarian's role in an interdisciplinary
Interdisciplinary research, or
yes, it's
yeah,
little
I
bit
think
long.
now if I even take my university, we have 4 faculties, and usually we see that faculties are in silos. How much we try to get these different research together. We say, okay, engineering is doing their engineering stuff, business is doing their business stuff, then humanities is doing their humanities things. But a common place all of us get to is the library for various purposes. Like it may be the digital library or maybe the physical library. I think it brings all our researchers together. So I think that's a great place where maybe you can have sessions and ways in which you can get researchers to talk to each other. So we also know that some of the best inspirations and the best research comes when you have interdisciplinary teams. So maybe that is one of the ways the libraries can connect to different faculties a university has, by having sessions so that it brings all of these people together in some kind of forum.
Yes, we have one last question. So it asks, how could AI support librarians to keep track on latest publications in a given policy area? What tools, models would you suggest to use?
Yeah, so one of the things that I think if you take the library databases that are there, like I think there are integrated libraries. I think in most Western world, like you have Ebisco or Wiley, and you can easily search for documents for certain things. But one way of using AI, we also see that there are AI library spaces, like some of the commercial providers like Clarivate. I think even IEEE Explorer have now they have a research kind of like interface for their library search. But even if you don't have that, I think one way is like if you can connect your AI with the library resources, you can actually give a prompt to actually search for something that's relevant. So one of the things that these large language models are really good at is like it can shift through very large volumes of documents that it has access to, and then it can summarize things for you. So like even if you use a tool like Elicit, and if your Elicit is connected to the correct databases, you can ask a question like that, can you do a systematic review of that particular area that you're interested in? So things like, I think we may all be familiar with the Prisma method of doing, literature survey. So there are AI tools that can simply do that completely. So these survey papers or these Prisma-based models, I think you have tools that can completely do that. So I think in some journals they are not even accepting survey papers depending on the discipline. Especially that happens in computing areas because these tools are used widely. But maybe you can very easily do a survey, like you can give the necessary criteria, and the AI can, provided that you have the connected, your AI is connected to the right databases, it can find the relevant research papers for you, and then you can get a quick summary of what's happening.
Thank you, sir, for the extreme calculation. And there's a Luis, he's asking, in my experience, I found more cases of real codes that don't support the claims made by the tool than, than invented citations from AI tools. He would like to hear your voice regarding this.
Sorry, can you repeat that again, Gitani?
Yeah, in my experience, I found more cases of real codes that don't support the claims made by the tool than invented citations from AI tools.
If I may understand, like I think he's saying that the AI is generating a lot of hallucinated kind of content, but he finds that the content is not correct, right? Is that but the gist of the question?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So AI by nature is going to produce a lot of errors unless you ground it by your own sources. So the best way of using AI is an approach where, like in Notebook LM, even if you use ChatGPT, like let's assume that you have let's say that you have got 25 research papers that you want to use, and you have downloaded to your computer. So if I'm using ChatGPT or Claude, I could say, I could attach the 25 papers and say, base your writing or base your observations only on those ones that I specify. So if you are providing the sources, the AI will be generally more accurate than asking it to search from the web. So primarily the main issue is like the way AI works, because it will try to, think. I mean, some people say it's just try to think the next word, but technically that may not be correct. But it may search the web also to find out the missing content that it's trying to produce. But if you simply upload the content that you want to refer to, maybe the 25 research papers that you want to use, then you can actually get a better result, more accurate kind of output with less hallucination, because you are providing the sources for it to use. So to some extent, when you connect the AI to a library also, through a connection that happens, but I think the best way is to upload the source material that you want to use the AI to refer to.
Thank you, sir. So if there are any more questions, and we'll also running out of the time. And Dr. Andrew, do you have anything to add? Okay, then as we conclude today's webinar, I would like to extend my extreme thanks for our Professor Nuwan Kodawade for having valuable, insightful topic, AI and research. And it's really valuable for us. And thank you, sir. Thank you for the presentation and given sharing your knowledge and expertise with us. And also, I would like to give the thankful for our AI IFLA convener, who is Dr. Andrew Fox, for the given support and for the making this event successful. And also a special thank to our all participants joining us from around the world. Your time, engagement, and presence despite different time zones made this session truly meaningful. And finally, I thank you all of you, especially our distinguished speaker and the convener and all the participants and who joined with us today. And thank you again for you all. And we look forward to you welcoming you for the future events as well, organized by IFLA AI Special Interest Group. Thank you. Thank you, sir, and thank you all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me.